Good morning. Today I am going to discuss with you the classic movie Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It was a movie that I saw. So it starts with like a drag race so that you know it is the 50s. And first the military guys are like, sure, we'll drag you. First the passenger is like, no, we don't do that. And the driver's like, you are boring. And then they still do it. And then they let the kids win because they have to go to work. This Russian communist guy bends down to tie his shoes, and then all of his friends murder everyone around. The first 2 minutes of the movie, everyone dies, and there's a lot of gophers. I don't understand why there's a lot of gophers. I still don't understand why there's so many gophers in this movie. There's a lot of gophers. They open up the trunk, and they pull Mac out, which is Indiana Jones' friend. And then they pull Indiana Jones after they pull this larger man out. So it's a very spacious trunk. And they pull Indiana Jones' hat. But first, before they pull Indiana Jones out, they pull his hat out. So you're like, oh, I know that hat. That is an important hat. They show this hat more than they show Indiana Jones' face in a full shot. There's a lot of long shots of Indiana Jones in this movie. I think it's because they didn't want to do any shots of how old Harrison Ford looked in this movie. So they were like, if we just do shadows of his face and the hat, people will understand that it's still Indiana Jones, you guys. Don't be scared by his skeleton face. They're at this warehouse in the military base, and they're like, you know what's here. And he's like, no, I don't. He goes into this like weird town, but it's not really a town. It's like the Twilight Zone town. And like all it is all of these mannequins that are, it's very creepy. He tries to turn on the sink and it doesn't work. Why he wants to turn on the sink, I don't really understand. It's not his house. He's being kind of presumptuous. There are all these mannequins sitting down and watching TV. So there's electricity, but then outside they're watering the lawn. There's a lot of inconsistencies. I don't understand. Maybe they just didn't pay their bill. Maybe that family of mannequins just didn't have water, but they had electricity. Because those are separate payments. I can understand that now. I get it. He realizes, he hears this like alarm, and that he realizes it's going to be like a bomb. And he realizes that he can go into the refrigerator, and this is where Indiana Jones should be dead. Look, if I don't put like my water container back far enough, my refrigerator door won't stay closed. But somehow this man got into a refrigerator, there was a bomb, he flew in the air, and it stayed shut. He's dead. So for the rest of the movie, just assume that he's dead, and this is the story of a ghost. I will continue. And so he is on a train, and while he's on the train, we get the first shot of Mr. Shia LaBeouf on a motorcycle coming through the fog, and then he decides to shout, "Hey, old man! Hey, old man!" And Jones doesn't answer old man because that's rude. Then they're at a diner together. And sure, there are more upsetting things that happen in this diner, but I would like to point out that there was a guy at the next table who had a soda, a water, a milkshake, and then he was ordering a beer. That guy had 4 drinks. And his friends had none. And he's like, "What's your mother's name?" And he's like, "Mary." And he's like, "Oh, there's been a lot of Marys." And Mutt gets up like, "Go fuck yourself, Indy." They start to fight like a classic, and they're like, "Get out of here, greaser." I hate the 50s. They go to a lot of South American countries in this movie. I like Mayan hot chocolates. I like when the hot chocolate tastes like there's cinnamon in it. And I don't like when you make it really spicy though, because then it's too spicy. A really good my hot chocolate would be just a little spicy, mostly cinnamon, and then they'll have like marshmallows and then a little bit of whipped cream on it. So then they're taken to where Marion is, and they get away and they run into the forest, the jungle. So not a forest, it's a jungle. They go into the jungle and then they're just having a nice little chat, and then they realize they're in quicksand, which is not a problem you usually see anywhere. As they're going down, Marion tells Indy Mutt's real name is Henry Jones. Oh, because then he's like, he's a good kid, don't worry about him. And then Marion's like, oh, he's your son. And Indy's like, why'd you let him quit school? That's the first question you ask him? Why is he a jerk? Why does he keep calling me Gramps? Why is he such a buttface? Why did you do such a terrible job as a mother? And then Mutt comes back and he brings something in, and Marion gets out, and then he throws it at Indy, and you see it's a snake. Where did you find the snake, Mutt? Was it on a tree? You know what else a tree has? Branches. You know what's more helpful to get people out of sand pits? Branches. Why would you bring a snake? That snake's gonna die. That snake's gonna be ripped apart. You don't care. You brought a snake and then you throw it head first towards your father. That's fucked up. And then Indy is insisting they call it a rope. Just call it a rope and I'll touch it. No, Indy, you are right. You should die with dignity. Hold on. There's this really long, super long, boring drive sequence. This is what we learn. Mutt quit school, but he didn't quit his fencing lessons. And somehow he gets hoisted into the trees, and there's just all these monkeys around, and then you're like, oh cool, a spin-off movie where Mutt lives among the trees with the monkey people. That seems more like his speed. A lot of other boring things happen. And then they go up to this thing, and there's this like obelisk, and there's all these like little faces in the obelisks, and Indy decides that he should just break the heads off. Isn't he supposed to be preserving the memory of ancient civilizations, but he's just destroying their stuff? Okay, let me just tell you, if I ever had like a treasure, I would not put steps that they could possibly walk down and succeed in stealing my treasure. There would be no steps. Fuck you, this is my treasure. You don't get it. Figure it out. There's just spikes in your face. And the whole place turned into a flying saucer and flies away. And that's it. I fell asleep between some of this part, and I woke up and there was just a flying saucer, and I thought, I must have missed a lot of information, but I did not. I would like you all to thank me for watching this movie twice. I'm still confused about the plot, but I don't think that's a me thing. I think that's a them thing. So, Indiana Jones, it's set in the 20s, again, because it's better music. I enjoy the music. And he's fighting the Great Depression. He just needs to find a job. This millionaire comes to Indiana Jones and tells him that they found dinosaur blood trapped in amber inside of mosquitoes. And if he could just come and help them out, they have this great park that he could take a look at. It's Jurassic Park. But with Indiana Jones. I feel like that would be a really good movie.